Hey, good evening. It's Tuesday, April 27th. Thank you for being here tonight with us. Paul talks about, and this is our thought for the night, Paul talks about fixing our eyes on what is unseen, because what is unseen is eternal and more real than what we can see. So is Paul just pulling this stuff out of thin air, or is he just asking us to believe these things because he says them? Or does he have any particular basis for saying this? Well, we're going to look at a story in 2 Kings 6, which helps us to get a little better grasp on the seen and the unseen. So the king of Israel is fighting with the king of Aram, and the Aramean army has more troops and is stronger. So they're trying to find the king of Israel's army and entrap them. But every time that they go to, the king of Aram's army goes out to attack the Israelites know that they're coming and they move. Well, the reason they know they're coming is because God tells them through the prophet Elisha. So you can kind of figure out that the king of Aram is not very happy. He's ticked, all right? So we'll pick up the narrative here in verse 11. This enraged the king of Aram, the fact that he can't capture the Israelites because they always seem 1, 2, or 3, 4 steps ahead of him. He summoned his officers and demanded of them, "Tell me, which of us is on the side of the king of Israel?" In other words, who's spying for us? "None of us, my lord the king," said one of his officers, "but Elisha, the prophet who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the very words you speak in your bedroom." Now, the king of Aram's response is very typical. He says, "Okay, go find out where he is," the king ordered, "so I can send men and capture him." Now, think about the flawless logic here. The prophet already knows what the king is doing, knows what he said in the bedroom, got him all figured out, what's happening. And yet the king says, "Okay, we'll send men out to capture him, bring him to me." Duh. This is what happens when we try and do things by ourselves. Anyway, on with the story. So go find out where he is, so I can send men and capture him. The report came back, "He is in Dothan." Then he sent horses and chariots and a strong force there. They went by night and surrounded the city. So the Arameans think that they have won the day. And in the morning, the young servant of Elisha, gets up and checks out the countryside. Verse 15, when the servant of the man got up and went out early the next morning, an army of horses and chariots had surrounded the city. So he rushes back and tells Elisha, "Oh no, my lord, what shall we do?" the servant asked. He realizes that it's tough times, right? Got a huge army and there's just 2 of them. But Elisha says these really amazing words. "Don't be afraid," the prophet answered. "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." So the servant is going, "Elisha, me." That's 2. And he looks around and sees hundreds of troops and chariots. And he's probably thinking the old guy has gone off his rocker. And Elisha realizes that his servant is kind of spooked by this and trying to figure out, what's wrong with my master here? Is he losing it? And Elisha prayed, "Open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see." And then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. See, at that moment, Elisha's servant is able to look out and see what is really real. And the fact that God is not out of control, and he and Elisha are not toast, but they are being protected by these vast armies, these chariots of fire, the horses of fire, the armies of fire. And then, of course, the story goes on where they capture the Aramean force, they strike them with blindness and take it back to the king of Israel. But what I want to focus on tonight is just this one reality. When this young man had his eyes open so he could really see a window into what is really real. Now, when God restored his vision back to normal vision, in other words, when he made him like normal, where we can't see clearly, and the chariots and the horses of fire were gone, were they really gone? Or were they still there? Did they disappear? Or was just the fact that he can't see them doesn't mean they weren't there? See, this is where I want to have us draw our comfort tonight. God is there with us. Those armies are always there. They will always protect us. So if someone is asking right now, I can guarantee you, as saying this, okay, that's good. Where are these armies then? If they're really there, where are these armies when something bad happens to us? Why aren't they protecting us then? See, it's the wrong question. Nothing happens that God does not control and bring about for his own good. And we have no idea how many times those armies intervene for us. We think we go through a day because we're smart, because we drive well, because we think well, we walk in the right places. No, we are kept because that's God's purpose, his reason to take care of us. Those armies are always present. And when something bad happens to us and we get discouraged about that, doesn't mean the armies are gone. It means God has a purpose even in those hard things that happen. Brothers and sisters, those armies are there all the time. The chariots of fire don't go away because we can't see them. They are there. The armies of God are there. This night, the thought I want to leave you with is this. Don't be afraid. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. That's the peace and comfort that you and I can sleep well on this night. Again, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your faithfulness, and I pray God will be with you. If you just hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on post notifications and the videos will come to you. Pray you'll rest well this night knowing that God's armies are there and they're doing what he called them to do. And we are safe in the hands of God. Thanks so much for being here. You have a great night. Bye-bye.